who's most to blame for this Lakers loss?
The Clippers. It seemed like every time they play the Lakers, Skip, they can't miss from three. Remember the last time they played, they made 15 threes in the first half. Now they open the game up 7 to 10 for three in the first quarter.
You do bring out the very best in the Clippers.
Russ hit 2 threes. He walks into a jumper, and so he gets it going. And then everybody's like, well, man, if Russ hitting threes, I know it's going to be our night tonight. And then boom, boom, boom. Every time the Lakers made a run, the Clippers would snuff it out and go on a run of their own. They couldn't skip the first quarter. They was down like 13, 14 points. They come back and even take a lead on a Troy Brown Jr. three in the corner.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they hit 2 more threes. Okay, the second half, they're up by 24. They come all the way back, cut it to 6. And then boom, boom, 2 threes in a row, you're back up to 12. And they really never felt threatened from that point on. And that's what happened. Norman Powell, remember, Skip, the last game they played him. He played sensational.
Yeah.
Again, he had been struggling. He played sensational last night. He outscored the Lakers bench by himself, 27-25. And then when you chip in with Bones Highland, bombing threes, Terrence Mann going 4 of 6, 4 of 5, 2 of 2 from 3, and 10 points. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, Russ really didn't play. Russ played 21 minutes. I don't think did he play the fourth quarter? He didn't play much of the third quarter.
Played 5 minutes in the second half.
But the damage was already done.
Yeah.
And then you look at what the other guys came in. Kawhi was efficient, 9 of 17, 4 of 7 from 3. But I just, for whatever reason, the Clippers get up more so for the Lakers than they do any other team. They shoot the ball better against the Lakers than they do any other team. Yes, Skip, I'm not going to use the back-to-back because the Lakers, you should have won those 3 games that you lost on the missed free throws by AD. You should have won that game that you had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter.
You did.
And then who cares if this is a back-to-back? You put yourself in this situation that you're going to have a back-to-back. You looked at the schedule. Hell, I'm sure everybody looked at the schedule like, damn, down the stretch, man, we got a back-to-back in 3 of the last 4 ball games. Damn, how that's going to play out for us? Go ahead and take care of business, and it doesn't matter. But they didn't take care of business, and they find themselves in this situation. Skip, LeBron James, and I don't think it's hyperbole when I say I've seen probably 90, 95% of LeBron James's game. That was the worst half of basketball that I had ever seen him play. Now, I'm saying a half. Now, maybe he's played when you combine that half with the first half with the second half or a second half with the first, and you might say, well, he's played worse games. But for a half of basketball, I'm going to need somebody to show me a game in which he's played worse than what he played last night. And then in the second half, Skip, I don't know, have we ever seen him play a better half? 12 of 14, 30 points, 16 and 14 in the fourth quarter, 16 in the third, 14 in the fourth. But it wasn't nearly enough. He needed someone else to come along and go for the ride with him. But when you look at Kawhi 25, Zubac had 17, Russell had 14, and then you get 27, 14, and 10 from 3 guys off the bench, it was too much to overcome. I'm not going to use the excuse, Skip, as a back-to-back. And, you know, they played it, you know, coy, in a game-time decisions. And hell, from the looks of it, they're like, hey, y'all should just go ahead and rest and try to roll the dice Friday and Sunday.
True.
But I'm going to give the Clippers their credit because the Clippers played extremely well, and they deserve to win this ball game. Because every time the Lakers should try to make a game of it, they would go boom, boom, boom with 3 and 2, and a 6-point lead, went back to 12, went back to 16, went back to 18. They cut it down to 8, 9 points. But there's only like 30 seconds left in the ball game. So I didn't make too much out of that, but give the Clippers credit. That's who's most responsible for the Lakers losing this ball game, was the Clippers and how well they shot the ball early.
Okay. I hear everything you just said. But after I slept on this, I decided that the game I watched from start to finish last night is the weirdest NBA game I have ever witnessed on many levels. Okay, let's start with the start, your first level, which is back-to-back. Long road trip, tough flights.
4 games
They got stuck in Minnesota because it's snowing and they had to stay overnight when they weren't planning to stay overnight. Then they go to Utah and it's another snowstorm and they were trying to de-ice the plane. This would be not last night, but the night before.
Tuesday.
And they were a couple of hours late leaving Utah to get back to Los Angeles. They get back, land around 2 o'clock in the morning. It messes up your sleep cycle. Blah, blah, blah. I got all that.
Yeah.
I've been doing this way too long. I know this league. I know it from the 1970s. Trust me on this.
When they fly commercial?
Yeah. in the 70s and through the 80s, when I was really all over the NBA, covering it just every day, day in, day out, lots of big playoff series, nobody ever even mentioned back-to-back. Trust me on this, it wasn't even an issue because nobody spoke about it.
Right.
I never even looked at the schedule to think, wait a second, they just played last night in Denver or wherever they were. No, you just played, and I'm going to say it one more time. Michael Jordan 9 times played all 82 games, and a 10th time he played 81, and 11th time he played 80 games. They just played.
They just played.
Because when you played, you just played. You just do it. Yeah. I don't know. There's not an option. You're a little banged up. You got a game Sunday. You just suck it up. Yeah. You ice and you take a shot or whatever you have to do.
Well, you covered the league when they played preseason. Remember they used to play all the preseason games?
Play 6 preseason games. Okay. So there was no such thing as load management.
Nope.
I wasn't even aware of the term back-to-back because nobody spoke about it. And yet, the more, you know how the mind works. The more you speak about it, the more you plant seeds of doubt in your mind of, oh, no, it's a back-to-back. It's a back-to-back. I'm going to give LeBron a break here because he is 38 years of age and he has high mileage on his body. But we're coming to the close, to the finish line. And I was happy and impressed and admired the fact that both he and Anthony, probably just 30 minutes before tip-off, said, okay, let's go. This was a very big game because it's a pay me now or pay me later kind of a game. If you can finish in the 6th seed or maybe the 5 seed, then you avoid having to play in the play-in immediately after the close of the regular season. You might get 6 days off. You might even get 7 days off, depending on when they schedule your first playoff game. Could LeBron use that at this stage? You better believe it. So he knew, I got to suck it up and go. Given that, given what you just told me about first half versus second half, I'm going to go with you and raise you on both of them. It was the worst half of basketball I've ever watched, and I think I've watched more LeBron games than you have because I can't remember missing a LeBron game. Right. It was shockingly off kilter. He was completely out of it in the first half. How does LeBron freaking James end up with, 3 points and 4 turnovers? And the turnovers were like, you've lost your mind. You're not there. You left your mind in Salt Lake City, right? What are you doing? What are you thinking? And yet, he turns the worst half of basketball into, I'm going to go right over the edge on this one. I thought under the circumstances, given his stage and age, given the magnitude of this game as it impacts their playoff chances, I thought he played his greatest half of basketball against a team that has owned his team and has now obviously won 11 straight games. Shannon, it was underrated because they could never get back in the game. Correct. They cut it to, I got it cut to 7. You say 6, maybe I missed 7. Okay, they cut it to 7 at one point in the third quarter. But to your point, every time they cut it, every time they made a huge run, somebody on the Clippers, Bones Highland, would make another shot, and you'd say, well, that's just too good. It's a make-or-miss league, and they're making everything. And weird people are making them, even though Norman Powell, Storm and Norman, he sure looks like the 6th man of the year to me because you want to talk about a professional scorer? That's what he is. He looks a little weird because he's a little bow-legged. He looks a little awkward, and he doesn't look that athletic until he's got a ball in his hands, and then you can't stop him. Look at what he did last night. He shot 10 free throws. He attempted 10 and made all 10. He shot 5 more free throws than any Laker shot because he was attacking the basket. Okay, so help me out here. How did LeBron James go from playing 38 minutes at Utah, including an overtime in which he had to really reach down because he
scored 9 in OT.
He had to redeem himself because he missed the left-handed layup that could have stopped the overtime and ended the game. And it's redemption. And he was great, and I'm sure he was a little gassed. Okay, wouldn't it be predictable that he might play the second half last night that he played in the first half? And then he would just hit the wall.
Run out of gas.
And just, at halftime, he'd say, guys, I'm shot. I'm spent. I am done. You guys got to pick me up here in the second half. Shannon, it went completely the other way. How at halftime can a 38-year-old say, I'm going to reach down. I'm going to jump start. You can't do it. No. I don't know how you do that and play the greatest half. I'm going to show you, and you saw it, but for those who didn't stay up late enough to see this, I want to show you the 12 shots that LeBron James made in the second half of a game they almost got back into, right? They came real close to putting enough pressure on where they'd break them. You know, there's a point of no return where if you cut it to 3 maybe, all of a sudden the Clippers crumble and break. Okay, watch what LeBron does. This is in the second half after playing the worst half you've ever seen. A completely out of it first half leads to this. Okay, he'd been missing his threes, and he finally got one to fall. Well, you know how he goes. It's like, that felt good. I like this. I like this. I'm logoing. I'm going to logo, and I busted another one on him. And then he's got this. I'm just going to take it. This is he still drives it better than anybody in the game. I swear to you, there's nobody who can play bully ball any better than this. You can't stop that because he's ambidextrous. That was an easy left-handed layup. And then here he goes again, and that was a goaltend. Okay, here we go again, and can't stop him from the hoop. And here we go again. He just beat him off the inbounds. That's Clippers' fault. And then here we go again. Can't stop the freight train. And here he goes again. You know what? He's starting to feel it. Oh, there's the third 3. And then here he goes again. And that's swoop to the hoop. That's vintage, right? And here he goes again. Another 3. And he's got that because he can get hot now. He can get hot. I don't think he's a very good three-point shooter, but on any kind of given occasion, on any night when one falls and it feels good to him, he's like, okay, I got this. He scored 30 points in the second half. Is that right? 30?
Yeah. 12 of 14 shooting.
12 of 14? So help me out. He goes from 3 to 30?
3 to 30 at 3.
Okay. And then I'm looking at the fourth quarter, and I'm saying, well, they had a chance. They cut it to 7. Then all of a sudden, it goes back to 11 going to the fourth quarter. And guess who? I guess you'd call Bones Highland the backup point guard for the Clippers. I think that's what he was acquired to be from Denver at the trade deadline.
Or the backup, too, because Terrence Mann.
I think he's called the backup point guard, but whatever. He comes in the fourth quarter and makes 4 out of 5 shots, including 3 out of 4 threes. Yeah. He makes 3 out of 4 free throws, and he scores 14 points in the fourth quarter to equal the 14 scored by LeBron, who went 5 of 5 and 2 of 2 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Yes. Well, if Bones Highland doesn't do that, maybe we're having a different conversation. Right. Bones Highland.
And did you see the threes that he was hitting?
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They're just ridiculous because the kid's got talent. Right. I think Jerry West had an eye on him like, wait a second, there's one of those that you don't see coming.
And for whatever reason, he fell out of favor in Denver.
He just couldn't get enough run. He just couldn't get enough reps. And I think he rubbed Mike Malone the wrong way because he groused about it. He made waves about it. Okay, so now he's a Clipper, and they score again because they've got a really good young player that they can develop. Okay, now back to the start of the game. LeBron comes out completely low energy.
Yeah, he's too passive.
Which didn't shock me because I'm thinking I'm with you. My first, I think I tweeted about this. Hey, if you can't go, you can't go. Right. If you're out of gas, you're out of gas. And I was like you. Maybe it would have been better if he just said, guys, I just can't do it tonight. Right. Not that his foot's sore. It's just that he gave too much the night before. Okay, he's got like the equivalent of 200,000 miles on his body, right? On a car. Yes. Maybe 300,000. Okay, so the point is, the whole team, they feed off his energy, and he was without energy. And then the other shock to me is Russell Westbrook comes out, and I predicted 6 turnovers, and I predicted he would be hell-bent and out of control, attacking the rim. And instead, he played completely in control to start the game. Yep. And he shot his first 2 threes with conviction and in rhythm, and he didn't rush. It looked good to me, and I was highly impressed because he makes his first 4 jump shots, but he makes 2 threes, and he is giving it to LeBron. Yeah. And you can't tell me that him giving it to LeBron didn't get under LeBron's skin at halftime until LeBron said, okay, watch this.
You remember, I think it was the fourth.
He went after it. He went to the bench.
You say I was looking at him on the bench?
He had an and one on a break, and he circled right around. because remember,
went out of his way.
because they're sitting where the Lakers
normally
usually
would sit,
sit.
correct.
And he goes out of his way to walk down the line of the bench and stop and stare Russ down.
Right.
There was also a turnover in the third quarter where LeBron just threw it away. He had 2 turnovers in the third quarter.
He thought it might have been Troy Brown. He thought
it was Troy Brown. So he throws it
and Russ
to the bench. He throws it to the Clippers bench, and Russ catches it and says sarcastically to him, "Nice pass."
Right.
Well, you're asking for it.
And plus, Skip, if you notice, every time he make a jump shot, he was pointing at LeBron. Because at first, LeBron was like, okay, we're going to treat it like Golden State. I ain't coming out there. And he hits it. And then he hits another one. And then he walks into a 2. And so every time he'd make he pointing.
I think he was doing some gesture, but that's just me.
I don't think Bron took too kindly for that. But I also think Russ thinks that the reason why I'm not here is that you didn't no longer want me here. You wanted me here. You wanted me here in the beginning, but you didn't want me here in the end. And that's why I'm across the hallway.
So I was impressed that Russ reined in his emotions enough. He channeled his anger enough that it became positive instead of negative. But here's the punchline to this. Going into the second quarter, he started to turn back into Westbrook.
Yeah.
He shot an air ball.
Right.
And he winds up turning it over 3 times in the first half. And guess what Ty Lue did? You come sit over here.
You're right.
Right? Okay. So I admire that because maybe Ty Lue can figure out how to get the best out of Russ because he got the very best out of him in the first quarter, but only in the first quarter.
Right.
Second quarter starts.
Well, Skip, I was hoping he hit a couple of them, and then he feel good about himself and just shoot them out.
I tweeted about this. I said LeBron should just keep daring him to shoot because his numbers would tell you, because he came in ranked 148th out of 149 players from 3, his numbers would scream, just let him shoot.
Correct.
Hope he keeps jacking him up because probably he's going to miss 6 of his next 7.
Right.
Okay? Well, he didn't get to miss 6 of his next 7 because once he shot an air ball, Ty Lue said, that's enough. To your point, he played 5 minutes in the second half. So a guy who sort of won the first quarter barely played in the second half.
Right.
And scored 2 points in the second half.
And
really?
Skip, and to your point, you were saying something earlier that the way LeBron played the second half, you thought he was going to play the first half.
Yeah.
I thought that, you know what, I'm a little tired. I'm going to get these other guys going, and then when I get my rhythm, I catch my breath, now I'm there. But by the time that happened, Skip, he only had 2 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
He only took 6 shots. He had a free throw in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So that's his 3 points. So he's 1 for 6. And so he's thinking, okay, AD, you get going. Okay, some of the other guys, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt doesn't play a whole lot of minutes. He starts the game, but he doesn't play a whole lot of minutes.
Okay.
And so LeBron was probably thinking, I'm going to let these guys get going. I'm going to catch my breath, get a rhythm, and then I'll be fine.
Okay.
But by the time he got that rhythm, Skip, they're already 20 points down.
They're 20 points
because
down.
When they go down at the half, they were down 71-52.
Yep. Okay, last point. Your biggest concern about your team going forward, the biggest X factor in all of basketball is AD, who really the last 2 games AD has stood for always disappointing. He didn't play poorly last night. He just didn't assert himself.
He got outplayed by Zubats.
Yeah. He got out-hustled and outplayed by Big Zoo. Used to be a Laker, and yet he shouldn't be in AD's stratosphere.
No.
Anthony should, I'm not going to say destroy him, but he should.
He should.
He should dominate him.
Yes.
He just should. He's just that much better and quicker, stronger. All of the above. And the numbers aren't terrible for Anthony because he winds up with 17 and 11. But Zubats winds up with 17 and 13. And you could just, your eye test told you, wait a minute, the Clippers guy is outplaying you, right? Okay. It's not acceptable, especially on a night that it was clear from jump that LeBron was a little out of it.
Right.
So now you need your co-star to pick it up.
Yes.
Austin Reeves got off to a shaky start, but he had a very sneaky, quiet. He scored 20 points. So I don't know how you could ask more from him, right?
Since he's been in the starting lineup, I got no qualms whatsoever.
Well,
because I know, he turns the ball over. Yeah, he had some careless turnovers. But you know what? I don't question his effort. I don't question his desire. I don't question his IQ. I know he's trying. He's doing the best he possibly can. But in that first half, I needed AD. In the first half, I needed AD to get. I'm not saying give me 30 like LeBron gave me in the second half, but can he give me 15? Can he give me like 18?
Assert yourself.
Yes.
Show that you care enough that your motor is going to run hot for a crucial game.
Right.
Okay, so the Lakers lose the first half by 19. They win, thanks to LeBron, the second half by 12.
Right.
My takeaway from the game is weirdly positive because of the second half, because not only did they not quit, they actually made a great run that got shot down by a team that just couldn't miss.
That's the thing. Every run, every time the Lakers would cut it, because Skip, they took the lead, what was it, 30, 31, 30, 30, 33, 32, something like that. And then they go boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, it's back to a 9-point lead when they just had a 1-point lead.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, damn. It just seemed like in the second half, they could never get over that hump where they tied the ball game, Skip. And now all of a sudden, the Clippers like, man, we just had a 24-point lead.
Then the pressure would flip on the Clippers.
They would just come down and make big shot after big shot after big shot.
Whew.
But you saw GOAT what he capable of. You saw what GOAT capable of.
That was a GOAT-ish second
now,
half.
just imagine in a 7-game series, there are no back-to-backs in a 7 game.
No.
Could you see a man averaging
Thank goodness
35?
for that. Lakers still clinging to that 7th spot in the West, Shannon, but
Clinging.
same record as my Pelicans.
Uh-oh.
We stepping on your
39 in
fingers.
the loss column.
We stepping on your fingers, yeah. You better let go of that 7th spot.
We're coming. Oh, no. Okay.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.